Cool. All right. Put up the videos last week, or parts of them anyway, like 10 minutes, 5 minutes one. And part of what I observed was me, which is my little eccentricities and saying, and all that kind of stuff. And I noticed my ego going, oh, I don't need to do that. Right? Yeah, I mean, I don't really care. But what I thought about that was, in quantum physics, when you observe something, you automatically change it. So I figure by me observing myself do this, it's going to change. You know? Because the principle that I keep talking to y'all about is observing yourself. Okay? Where's your attention going? Does this make sense, what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I will endeavor some to try not to say too much. But my attention on that is my ego, so I don't really need to worry too much about it. What I wanted to do to begin with is talk a little bit about where we left off in terms of currency. Y'all remember that? And am I a battery or a sheep? In my natural state, what's my natural state? Where's my soul wanting me to go? You know, I ain't mad with you for smoking pot. You know, it's none of my business. You know, I don't know that God's that mad with you about smoking pot. Okay? I don't think God's going, you bad boy. I think God is, you know, because I know what God thinks, me and Paul. But I think God is more concerned with you finding a way for your soul to be in its natural, peaceful state without all that. You know. So, what I thought I would start with is money. We have in our scripture something we say we believe in. Jesus said the love of money is what? The root of all evil. Okay. So I think to begin, and we can go, yeah, well, stacks of $100 bills and making it rain on the bitches and the hoes, and that's easy. You know, it's easy to say, well, I'm a Christian now and I don't throw $100 bills at hookers, so I'm a good person. That's not necessarily so. Okay? Because Jesus didn't say throwing money at hookers is the root of all evil. He said the love of money. So I want to start with just a little bit about what is money. So, because we throw this stuff around so much, especially us religious types that's been raised in churches. We have a lot of church words that we say and we repeat, and everybody goes, like, anybody come up in church and you went to Sunday school?
When I was a little bitty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, pretty much they would ask you a question, and pretty much any answer would be God or Jesus or Moses, and you know, you got a little gold star, and you know, right? But and that's okay when you're tiny, learning the narratives and all that kind of stuff. But there's a time when these words need to be broken. Our concepts of those constructs or ideas or emotions, there'll come a time when we've outgrown them and they don't mean anything. Or can, and just like if some of y'all ever been to different rehabs, they all have their own vocabulary. You understand? You know, we're special because we say higher power. Or we're special because we say Jesus, or we're special because you get a massage every day, or whatever. You know, however much money you get to go to different stuff. But it's the same process, just different words. You know? Any of y'all been to AA, NA stuff? Okay. AA, NA, they have their holy book and their priests that represent the higher power. And you have communion, which is coffee and cigarettes. You know, right? Yes. I mean, it's the same process. Mm-hmm. So what I would have us do, at least a little bit this morning, is try to break open the idea of, if Jesus said the root of all evil is the love of money, we might want to understand, at least begin to try to understand what that actually means. Because money is an illusion.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. Money.
One singular.
Is that how you spell it? M-O-N-E-Y. Oh, yeah. Okay. What does mono mean? One. What does I mean? I. You know. What's on the back of your dollar bill? One eye. Okay. All that kind of stuff. Not making any judgments about that one way or another. But do y'all know how money is created in our current society?
Printing press.
No, that's just a fake. Okay.
Federal Reserve.
You have the Federal Reserve. And who owns the Federal Reserve?
China.
Who?
China.
What people?
Us.
Hell no. And most of us don't know this because we've been distracted by twerking and whatever. You know, you run in the clubs and chasing the girls with the booties and the thing and the apple bottom jeans and whatever. And skeet, balls to the walls and all that stuff. Because that's where our attention was, and so that's where our energy went. Right? Creating currency, energy for someone else.
Behind the scenes.
I mean, I'm not going to go through all this. If you ever want to know about it, it's fine. But I think the main point is to begin to... The main point is, for me, is not to spend the next 8 years becoming a conspiracy expert, which you may be called to that. There are some people I think are called to do research and tell folks. But at the end of all that, whatever rabbit hole you go down, you end up with, this shit's a lie. Wherever you go. You know, you can be, anyway, I won't get into all that. But, when you get to the point that you say, somebody's lied to me all my life, then what do? I study a lot of that stuff, and even folks in the same conspiracy camp, they start fighting each other. And it's just like churches, basically. They have some revelation of truth, and they have a prophetic word spoken in or whatever, and then after 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, they start saying, well, y'all wrong, and they're fighting. Right? And the point is if you believe that God has spoken some kind of revelation of truth into a group of, whether Martin Luther, when he nailed his thesis to the wall and said the just shall live by faith and broke with the Catholic Church and all that. If you think that was a word from God, it wasn't so that they could start a whole new organization and start collecting more money and more land and more control over folks. That's a human impulse. That's ego. I'm right, you're wrong. When the guy that wrote most of the New Testament, in a passage I'm going to talk about in just a minute, was very clear to say that at best we see through a mirror darkly. And all these things we think are so important are going to pass away. And there are only three things remain. Faith, hope, and love, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, let me tell you a little bit about the money. The Federal Reserve is a private corporation. Okay? Fact. There's a difference between the United States and the United States of America. Washington, D.C. is a corporation. Okay? And in any corporation, you got to have a president, a vice president, and a secretary, treasurer, or something. Okay? And every year you got to have a stockholders meeting. We call it State of the Union. Okay. And the Federal Reserve, if any of y'all are historians, some of the earlier founding fathers and stuff were really fighting against the Federal Reserve because they understood that when the bankers take over stuff, it doesn't really matter who's writing the laws. Okay. So what the Federal Reserve does is basically magic, creating something out of nothing. We have the government wants money or they're whatever. So they get on their computer and they type 10 million or 10 billion or whatever. And then they lend that to the federal government at interest. So they take $10 million out of nothing, make it out of nothing, completely nothing. It's ones and zeros on a computer. And then attach debt to it, so the government is then in debt to the Federal Reserve, who then send it to the banks, who send it to the people, and at each point, that $10 million every time, I don't want to get into all the fractional reserve stuff, but if a bank has, I don't know what the percentage, maybe 10%, they only have to have 10% on hand of what they've loaned out. But it's 10% of something that was made from nothing. And so they've loaned out, they got a loan of $10 million. They can keep $1 million on the computer and then loan out that other. So they've created more money out of nothing and more debt. And then it goes all the way through the economy. And everybody is in debt to the Federal Reserve, which basically put up nothing. Okay. Money is an illusion. So what indeed is money then? Why are we chasing it? What does it do? If the love of money is the root of all evil, what is money?
Power.
It's power, control, gives you access to stuff.
Greed. Greed. Security.
Based on nothing. Security based on nothing, or the illusion of security, or the illusion. What do we do with money?
Spend it.
We spend it on things that are very important.
No junk. Mostly.
I mean, I think you might think of it, it's just a measure or a token of where everybody's energy's going. Right? Because we talked last week about Kanye and them. Right? If I can get my face on Twitter or the news or whatever, and you get all these likes, you get all these Twitter things going, and you're generating energy or currency, it gives somehow power. And I mean, to me, that's witchcraft. That's magic. That's what real magic is. Real magic is not some old woman with a wart on her nose with a big hat and turn into a toad. You know, that's what Walt Disney taught you. On purpose. So, but that's something you may want to look at someday. It's not that important. The important part is getting to the point where you go, I'm been lied to. That I really do believe what my scripture says, that this system is not after my own good. This system wants to enslave me. The system wants to keep me distracted. The system does not want me to wake up and understand that I'm more than my ego. That I'm more than my bodily functions. Okay? Does that make... Okay. Is that clear enough? I mean, there's hours and hours you can talk about all this stuff. But, Paul, the 13th chapter of Corinthians, is it? They call it the love chapter.
Yeah.
And we read it at weddings, and love is patient, and love is kind, and everybody's, got conned into buying rocks that are shiny and spending their money. Because even that whole market is manipulated. Because if there's too many of them, then the value goes down. And anyway, and you get programmed that if he don't buy me a big rock, he really don't love me. And so there's all this pressure on you to go give your energy, your attention, your imagination to doing whatever it takes to acquire enough money to trade it for a rock. Right? And I mean, and we just tool along in life just assuming that that's what we're supposed to do because that's what we were told to do. That's the expectations that we have. Another thing I learned about because as I was watching myself and thinking about how I do, because I can write, some of y'all seen some of the stuff I've written, and it seems real elegant and da-da-da. When I'm writing, I'm going, Yeah, it's almost like a meditation or something, because I'll get. It's like I'm listening for what to say next, because y'all know I never know what I'm going to say when I get here. All right. So 13th chapter of 1 Corinthians. And we read it a lot around weddings, but Paul was writing to some really immature and hurtful people. We read that out of context. The Corinthians were some dogs. I think that was the group of people that the rich folks would show up and eat the Lord's Supper because they didn't have no jobs. They could just hang out and, just eat, chill. And time the poor folks that had jobs got there, there wasn't nothing left to eat, A lot of junk going on. I mean, y'all can read about that too. Paul was basically saying, y'all talk love, y'all use the word love, but you don't know what it means. This is what love is. Love is patient, kind, long-suffering. I'm going to write it like this. And as he goes through that chapter and describes what love is, and he gets to the bottom part, and he says, when I was a child, I used to think as a child, right? I used to handle my shit different. When I became a man, I put away childish things, and I handled myself different, handled my shit different, I thought different. I do things different because I see stuff different now. And that's where he says, all this other stuff's going to go away, but there's only three things that remain: faith, hope, and love. And by the way, the best we can know is only partial. Right? So when you have a group of human beings fighting over the truth, how can they know it in terms of the ego? We've talked several times about our data inputs, sight and taste and smell and hearing and all that stuff. Remind us, or let me remind all of us, that there's only a small part of any of those spectrums that we have any awareness of. Sight, we only see a small part of light. Sound, we only see a small part of sound. It's all frequencies anyway. So, in our bodies, the Creator tuned us to perceive and receive certain frequencies, and others we don't even know. How are you going to talk about truth when you can't see an X-ray?
Yeah.
It's not that what you don't know is not true. It's just it's partial. It's not ultimate. Paul reminds us that to balance all that stuff out, we have to remember that we need to be real humble And we talked last week about Paul's ego. He thought he knew everything. Until he figured out he didn't even know what he didn't even know. So, what is faith? So if money is something we need to watch and understand, it's kind of what makes stuff happen. It's the currency. It's what we focus on. Okay? But the money Jesus was talking about was an illusion. Or at least as we come to understand money. Now, what is faith? Don't give me no Bible words. Don't give me no Bible words. Unless you're talking Greek.
Believing in something you can't see.
Believing in something you can't see. Okay, what's believing mean?
Knowing it's there even though you can't see it.
Trust.
What part of speech is the word faith? Because you're describing a noun.
An action.
Action, it's a verb. It's a verb. Pistos is the Greek word. What is a verb? It's an action. It's what we do. It's not what we. It's not a set of constructs we hold together and say, "This is my faith." Because I can have a set of constructs that I held together, and I talk about how much I love Jesus, and then go fuck somebody out of $20 so I can get a whatever. It's not what I say. It's not what I believe. It's what I do is my faith. There's a great old hymn of faith that I think David Allen Coe used to sing. Anybody know David Allen Coe? Jack Daniels, if you please, knock me to my knees. You're the only friend there's ever been that didn't do me wrong. And then he'll sing, "Tonight the bottle," no, it's Merle Haggard, "Tonight the bottle let me down." That's a hymn of faith, because when whoever wrote that song, whether it was David Allen Coe or whoever wrote that, they talked about their faith. When they had a bad day, when they were anxious, when they were feeling alone, their faith moved them toward Jack Daniels. Is that right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you just take Jack Daniels out and put Jesus in there, let's say, how does that work? Jesus knocked me to my knees. You're the only friend there's ever been that didn't do me wrong. We kind of sing that song sometimes, don't we?
Yeah.
Right? Faith is not what we say, it's what we do. It's where we go when we get anxious. It's those many times unconscious or subconscious pre-programmed responses that we do when we're anxious, when we're afraid, when we're lonely, whatever. And we're not aware of that. We're not even aware that we're not aware many times. That's what we've been working on the last few weeks. So faith is basically an action. What is hope?
Action.
Hmm?
Action.
Yeah, I guess.
State of mind. Wishful thinking.
Yeah, y'all are on it like a... I ain't going to say that on my tape. Like a big fat boy on the commode, I'll say that. You're all over it. Got it covered up. Hope, and I'm not demeaning the Bible words or anything, I'm trying to give you some different vocabulary so that maybe it'll expand the ones we're used to. Hope is the ability to imagine a different solution or a different circumstance or a different, right? And what differentiates hope from wishful thinking is our faith backs it up. We move in the direction of our imagination. Right? I mean, it's not just sitting around staring at your belly button saying, "Dear Lord Jesus, come help me," and sprinkle some magic Jesus dust on me from them eggs you hatch out of every Easter and stuff. And,
So it's a proven way of thinking.
Sir?
A proven way of thinking, or a proven state of mind. Maybe. You've had evidence of proof, that's why you have hope.
No, it's hope of glory. Haven't seen him yet.
And that's not tangible, but the fact that I've been under that bridge and he pulled me out of that bridge, for what reason, I don't know, I have hope that he has a plan.
Yeah.
Because of what he's done.
Yeah, because the bridge was all right for a minute.
I'm tied to it.
You know? But there is, and that's a good thing to think about. There's something in us, our soul, won't let us rest at a point less than what we were destined to be or what we were created to be. It makes us dissatisfied with even just chilling under the bridge shooting up heroin all the time. Because that can be very pleasant, I'm guessing. Or you wouldn't have done it. You know? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that in itself. You know? Go shoot heroin. I ain't mad at you. The issue is not that you're a bad boy because you shot heroin or you did this or that or the other. The issue is that you've stifled God's intention in your life.
Yeah, that's good.
Because this good bad stuff will keep you trapped. You know, I'm a good boy because now I'm at Turning Point and I'm reading all my stuff and I'm, you know, "Dear Lord Jesus, you love me," or I'm a bad boy because I went and shot heroin. No.
Right.
There's nothing you can do to manipulate God into loving you more. There's nothing you can do to piss him off so much that he's going to love you less. He's just saying, grow, baby. Come on. I got some real cool stuff for you to do. You know, and you stink. You know? Wash your butt. Does that make any sense?
It's freedom in it.
Yes. Because when we get trapped in that good-bad dialectic, many times you can probably kind of observe yourself if you find yourself judging other folks. It's because you're trapped in that good-bad thing. Well, I'm better than they are. You know. You know. Because he gave blowjobs for crack and I just gave hand jobs. You know, so I'm better than him. Or whatever, you know. At least you were performing a service and not stealing somebody's weed ear. So, exactly.
Wow. That's why you ate so good.
And I would suggest that if you gave somebody one of those, then you're at least moving toward righteousness as opposed to knocking somebody in the head and stealing their stuff. Or manipulating money out of your mama again or whatever. You know. So. And for everybody, that wouldn't be a negative thing. Some folks, you know, that's kind of their proclivity. So whatever. Now, where was I going?
We're on hope. What is it?
Oh yeah, hope. Creative imagination. Another word in the Old Testament is akin to that. It would be a vision. And so it's without a vision, the people perish. If you read in the prophets and in David and in the Psalms and all, I mean, David was straight up, told the truth. about his emotional state, I'm guessing. Because David would write whatever's going on. And then there's usually a line in there that says something like, nevertheless, I will hope in the Lord. And he honestly kind of evaluates and says out loud what's going on. He screwed up, he's sorry for this, and his enemies or whatever. And no, that is true in a sense, but nevertheless, I'm going to believe beyond belief that there's a solution to this. I'm going to hope that there is a way where there seems to be no way, because right now I can't see the way. We talked a few weeks ago about God provides a way where there seems to be no way. Many times, at least the way I used to think about it, and I think it's taught in church, it's almost like if we act just right and we squeeze our religious butt tight enough to get righteous, then God will wave His magic wand at it and say, there's a way. Ding, 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 ding. Right? If I can be good enough, God will love me enough and He'll magically make a way appear. And that may happen, I don't know. Hadn't really happened for me. Generally, the way that worked itself out is I was trying to, my vision was narrowed, and I was trying to make a way here within these tiny little parameters, but the way had always been right here. It had always been there. And that God had made a way before I even got there. The Creator God, who has a purpose for you and for me, has already made a way out of wherever you are. The issue is, I'm trying to look at through my little narrow senses and use my ego and how smart I am and how clever I am and what I know. And I keep coming back to the same place over and over. It's over, y'all, right? I mean, it may be California, it may be Chilton County, it may be geography. The people don't matter. Because we tend to create on the outside of us the same pattern that's inside of us. We attract the similar kind of people, we say the same kind of words, we dress the same way. So I'm guessing when you were living under the bridge, there was a certain dress code. You know?
Doesn't matter.
You know. If you found an Armani suit on the side of the road, that's great.
You sold it.
Yeah, see, but you sold the Armani suit, but you kind of settled back down to whatever the dress code was, and argued over who had the best cardboard and stuff, right? And then greed got involved in cardboard. You're not stealing Lamborghinis, you're stealing a 30-year-old mattress that's got all kind of bugs and shit in it. It's the same process, It's whether one lives in Randolph out here or some little town, burg in Senyati, Zimbabwe, Africa. I saw the same stuff happen there. I was 19 years old and I went and I was over there with the Baptists and was going to help everybody. Really, I went because I didn't know what I needed help. And I think maybe it was the Creator calling me out of where I was to go somewhere else to learn something so I could come back to where I was. But I remember I was in the bush, and this was 1983 maybe, and I was in the bush and I started hearing something, and it got closer and closer and closer, and it wasn't a lion, it wasn't a warthog, it was Michael Jackson.
Yes.
And it got closer and closer and closer and closer. And I saw this dude we used to have boom boxes. And he was walking through the bush with a boom box playing Michael Jackson with a NASCAR t-shirt on.
That's a National Geographic picture right there.
I had a man, because I'd come up working in the oil field, so I knew how to drill water wells and stuff, and oil wells, same thing. And this guy, he was the chief of a village, brought me one of his daughters with no shirt on, and said he would give me his daughter if I'd drill him a water well. And I said, well, thank you very much, but I have to go home and talk to my father, to work all this stuff out. I saw folks who would have slit your throat over, used to, you could buy digital watches at Walmart for like $3. I mean, same stuff. It's just different what we attach value to. Right. And this man was going to give me his daughter for a water well. I had another person that would have done a lot of stuff. I didn't trust them very much for a $3 digital watch from Walmart. That's one eye. That's one eye. What controls you? Where your creative imagination goes. If your creative imagination goes to a mansion, you can get it. Because if you really hope in that, you'll put the action to it and do whatever it takes. Y'all know this is true because if you've ever been out of dope and you had no friends, you had no money, you had 14 warrants in 18 different counties, you didn't get up in the morning and say, oh shit, I can't get no dope today.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You got up in the morning and you creatively imagined having dope. You thought about how it smelled, what it tasted like, how you were going to shoot it, smoke it, stick it up your tail, whatever.
Oh, man.
Right? And then in faith, you went out not knowing where you were going, just like Abraham did. And you go to people and you go, hey, can I have $20? And they go, no, crackhead. You don't go, oh, you don't like me because my uncle touched my special place and I'm going to have to sit here and be depressed and cut my wrist. And you go, hell, that ain't what you did, was it? You go, no? Okay, thanks.
Move on.
Next. No. Yes, thank you. Next. That is faith in action. Faith is not being able to manipulate these words in a way that are so, Faith is not saying the correct thing about Jesus or God or theology or whatever. Faith is a verb. It's what I do.
So the evidence of things hopeful does make sense.
Mm-hmm. So evident, yeah.
You're fitting it.
Yeah. It manifests itself. It manifests itself.
And it's you're gonna hope it works in your life.
Now what is love now, then?
In action.
What kind, baby?
It's gonna stick what he said. Oh, yeah, thank you.
And it's cool if you don't know to go, I don't know. It's actually, that'll be a great leap forward for a lot of us, for me especially. It's a very powerful place to be when you don't know. You go, instead of going, spitting stuff out, going, I don't know. Because when you understand that you don't know, it creates space inside you for you to get some more knowing. But when I just spit out all them things that I hope's the right answer, or, you know what I'm talking about? It's a very powerful place. There's several places in the scriptures that talk a little bit about that. If I want to be wise, what must I do first?
Be a fool.
Understand that I'm ignorant, that I'm a fool. He's not saying run around and do foolish things. It also says in Proverbs, about the fool that runs his mouth, it proves it to everybody. If you just be real quiet, don't talk much, folks think you're smart. Which is wisdom in itself. know. But our ego, again, gets us into a place where we want to appear smart and screws with us. So love. I'm going to use the word care, okay, in keeping with the idea of an action, okay. Because this word is so, I love chocolate, I love booty, I love, T-Pain, I love whatever. And we just throw that word around and we don't even know what it means. So I'd have you consider what the word care means. I would also include in that, I'll know what I care about by what I pay attention to. Okay? All right? What motivates me. Not what I say, not what gives me goosebumps. So you can say, I love you, baby. And what you're meaning is, I know you're insecure, so if I tell you you love me, you'll let me look at your titties. Right? Or she's playing you the same way, you just think you're, right? If you think all women are whores, then who's the whore? Raise your hand. The bitches. And just remember, and I'll keep saying this, what did Jesus say about the measure that we judge other folks with?
It will be judged.
No doubt.
Ego.
Because if I will pay attention, if you want to know about folks, just shut up and listen to what they're griping about.
Exactly. Another weak point? Yeah.
If you're wise and you want to know more about yourself, pay attention to what you're griping about.
Come on.
Care. And I think somehow this is what makes it all work, according to Paul. The action I take based on what I'm imagining, and then I give myself to it. I care about it enough to pay attention to it. Okay, does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so come back to the love of money. In this, what does that make you think or feel or?
Well, if you love money, then you're spending your hope and faith to sin. And occupy all three things that.
Put your faith in the money. Put your faith in money.
And it's an illusion.
So you put your hope and faith in the illusion.
Into nothing.
And nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
Temporal.
But you get addicted to it. And I think last week we talked about how, the battery thing. And the whole system is designed to keep our attention off of what?
What's really going on?
Reality.
Truth or God or yourself or however you want to think about that. Because, did you say you hadn't even tried breathing yet? I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you.
I keep telling them.
What are you paying? Don't answer this. Just think about, consider where is your attention in 7 days? Where's it been? That's what you love. That's where your soul, body, energy has gone. And that energy went out, and what purpose did it serve? Ain't nothing wrong with dominoes. Nothing wrong with playing volleyball or frisbee or, It's just at least the system I came up in, nobody ever really said, you're a unique creation of God. It's going to be cool to watch who you are. So pay attention to who you are. I'm excited to see all that. What did they tell us instead? Don't shit your britches. This goes here, and all some of that. We need to learn how to handle our shit. Sure. We got in school and they taught us things like gravity, like the world is a certain way, and this is the history of the world. But they forgot they were talking to what percentage of my Cherokee. There was a part of my ancestry that didn't really agree with the whole manifest destiny and the white man coming over here and taking our shit. Right?
Come on.
But it wasn't all white men, because my people were also Scottish, and we just had it worse than a lot of other folks, and especially if you ever pay attention to the Barbary Coast, and the white slavery is still going on. But you don't hear about that. But anyway. And they taught us, keep your eye on the ball. And if you were good enough, if you were fortunate enough or unfortunate enough to have some athletic talent, you got a lot of little shiny things for hitting baseballs and running around a Masonic shaped. What does a baseball field look like? Huh?
A vagina?
No. Square and compass. In the game, y'all, everybody keep your eye on this little ball right here. And then you got all these people watching this little ball.
Masons?
Yeah. Keep your eye on this little ball. But the real game is us playing y'all. I saw a thing on TV the other day, and they had these athletes jumping and running and timing them, and I was thinking, this is a dog show.
Those guys ain't getting paid with the crap doing that. The CrossFitters.
But there are some young men and women that come up and their focus is on one-eye success, business, becoming a baller, whatever. And they're getting played the whole way.
Yeah.
Because nobody ever stopped and said, what was his name? Earl Campbell? Y'all remember Earl Campbell? We care about you, Earl. So we're not going to let you run every down for the next 10 years and become crippled. We're not going to do that. Y'all know Earl Campbell? He was a hoss. But they beat that man up. For what?